Okay, our six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, Jimmie Johnson, is here now. Jimmie drives a number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Jimmie, coming off of race one in the Challenger round, we're here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Just talk about your outlook for this weekend.
Yeah, we ran well at Chicago. Just didn't get the finish that we were hoping for. So we're showing up here. We're, I guess, 8th in points. Certainly don't want to fall any further than that. And with the past success we've had here at the racetrack, hopeful for a win to make the next couple weeks, or next week at least, very easy. Honestly, we're just plugging along. We're running well. We're hopeful to heat up and find some more speed and be more of a dominant car, especially as the chase wears on. But we're holding our own right now, and looking forward to this track, and certainly next weekend, my favorite racetrack and probably my best track on the circuit. So, we're just plugging along.
We'll take questions. Let's start with Mike Vega, and then we'll go to Steve Richards, and then Alan.
Jimmie, good morning. Thanks for being here. Just wanted to ask you about that subject, your favorite racetracks. When you look at the chase and the way it sets up, you're the all-time leading winner at Dover, at Martinsville, Charlotte, and all are three uniquely positioned in this chase. In what respect does that give you, a sense of, I don't know, confidence, but maybe a reassurance that, you're probably going to win one of those races if form holds up? But when you look at it, what is it about those tracks, apart from the obvious, that make it your favorite track, and which ones are the least favorite, going into this chase?
It's awesome to have tracks that you love and tracks that you've had success at in the chase, and I feel like 7 or 8 of them have been historically awesome tracks for us. So that part is great. Stats are nice to look at, but you got to live in the present. So just because we've been good at those tracks before doesn't guarantee us anything going back. So it makes the week leading into it, feel a little bit better. It gives us some talking points and places to look at and to focus on, but we still have to show up there and get the job done. So any benefit that you have really just carries you through the week until you get on the track, and then timing and scoring is what we live by. So if you're good there, then that day is good. So but the tracks that aren't maybe our best tracks statistically in the chase would probably be the new Phoenix track and then Homestead. Both we've run in the top 5. I think both we've been in a position to win at. I think of the year Brad won the championship at Homestead. We set ourselves up for a race win and made some mistakes and cost ourselves the win and an opportunity to championship. Phoenix, I think we've run 2nd or 3rd there here with the new surface, but it seems like it's easy for a team to have it sorted out in the spring and come back in the fall and it not work. And again, the year I raced Brad, we had a great spring race and a terrible fall race. Last year, Matt had a very similar experience as well. So I'd say those 2 tracks are probably the most challenging for us that are in the chase.
We'll go ahead.
I mean, the concept of your success at 3 distinct type tracks, though, in this chase. You have Martinsville short track, and then mile and a half Charlotte, and of course Dover. How do you explain your ability to adapt to those different types of venues and have the success you have?
I don't know why, but we've always had success at quirky racetracks. I really don't know why, and maybe it's my off-road background and just having interesting environments to operate in and race in. So I've just succeeded on those types of tracks, and there isn't another track out there like Dover and Martinsville. Charlotte, some look alike, but all the mile and a halfs drive different, and Charlotte certainly has its, the way it wants to be treated, the way you need to drive that track.
We'll go to Steve Richards, and then Alan, and then Kelly.
Yeah, Steve Richards with PRN. Simply, how'd you spend your birthday? Did the family do anything special for you?
It was really a mild day. With it being 39, I asked my family just to kind of chill out and we'll save up for next year. So I had a fun day, hung out with the kids a bunch, picked Genevieve up from school and went and had some ice cream. She was excited about that, so I picked her up early and we celebrated together. So just some fun little moments like that, nothing too over the top.
Do you feel 39?
No, I don't feel 39, and the number, it's getting bigger. It wasn't long ago I was the rookie, the up and coming, and then I just watched Kyle walk out, and he looks like he could still be in high school. So time does fly, and certainly, time flies in this industry. It seems like it's on fast forward, and then those parents out there know that once you have kids, man, it really goes fast. And then it's hard to believe 4 years have gone by, and Genevieve's 4 now. So I don't feel that. I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. Most balanced, happy, all those things are there, but the odometer, it's getting some miles on it.
Let's go to Alan, Kelly, and then Marty.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, until this year, points didn't really matter until, the point total didn't matter to the end of Homestead. Now it matters after Dover. Does that make you more aware of exactly where you are in point? Like, do you know how many points you are to the good right now?
Yeah, honestly, I look at the first 9 races of this new format very similar to how I did with the old format. You got to collect points to be the champion, and you've got to win races. So I still feel like it is different for sure, but the way I feel the field is addressing this new format, and certainly myself, is you got to cover both bases. If you come out of the first 2 races of any block with trouble, it makes it very easy to look at the third race. You've got to be aggressive on strategy, especially if you're out of the points. You've got to do something different. So that element will start next week, and we'll see how it's played and who's in that position.
Do you know how many points you are to the good?
I don't. I know that I'm going to tie with a couple guys at my points value, but I want to look up. That's where I want to go.
Kelly, Marty, and then Nate.
Kelly Crandall from Popular Speed. Jimmie, no one ever looks past 6-time, but it seems like the last few weeks there's been a lot of talk about your teammates, Brad Keselowski, Harvick. Does this feel almost like, not to say you're forgotten, but do you feel a little bit maybe left behind? You said you're searching for speed. Is this kind of a different chase than years past for you coming in terms of the attention and the talk?
No, I mean, last year we had a really poor summer and got off to a great start in the chase and heated up and went from headlines saying what's wrong with 48 to, here we go again. We knew it. So I wish I could explain why teams are good and bad and why it's so hard to be consistent all year long. But, last year, even though we had a tough end of the regular season, we were in position to win a lot of races, and we did win a bunch during the course of the year. We just, we had one hot spot in the middle of the year this year, and we've kind of been lukewarm on the other sides. And I'm hoping we heat up. I'm hoping we get to that hot spot again. But truth be told, you look at the 4, you look at the 2, you look at the 24. Consistently over the year, those guys have been there. It's a new rules package. Believe me, we're working our guts out to find the speed and to be that dominant car. But truthfully, we're not a dominant car right now. We're a good car. We still have 9 weeks to get our act together, and especially the way this chase lays out, if we continue to get the most out of our good car and have a great car at Homestead, if we're in that position, then we can get 7. But this is a tough industry, and we're working as hard as we can, and I'm happy to see my teammates with speed. And then there's a couple guys out there that aren't in our camp that we're chasing and just trying to outrace them, but they're amazing race teams and drivers as well.
Let's go to Marty, Nate, and then Claire. Go ahead, Marty.
Finishing up a note, forgive me. Marty Smith, ESPN. So you're not a dominant car right now. You finished 12th in Chicago. What's the mood?
It's not the best mood. I mean, be honest about it, we hold ourselves to a higher standard and expect to operate at a higher level. But it's the same mood we've probably had through the majority of the year, where we've been good. We had a small window of being great, but in any competitive sport, if you're not great, it's hard to have a ray of sunshine shining through in certain areas. So we're realists. We as a 48 and the culture at Hendrick Motorsports, we expect a lot out of ourselves, let alone what any outside pressure would be. And we're not where we want to be. But again, with this format in the chase, there's time. And in some respects, it could be a little bit more forgiving for you, where a gross points total doesn't determine the champion at the end of the year. So we're going to play the game that's ahead for us and get the best we can and hopefully heat up as this chase wears on.
Let's go to Nate, Claire, and then Al.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmy, going back to what you were saying earlier about how there's that oddity where a team can have it sorted out in the first race at a track, but not a few months later in the second race. As good as Brad Keselowski was here in July, I mean, would you expect that he still is the favorite coming in here, or knowing that, like, looking at the history, this track has had 13 straight different winners? Does that kind of, I guess, supersede the fact that Kes was so strong here a couple months ago?
Yeah, I'd expect him to be in a similar position, and it's for two reasons. One, he had so much more pace than the rest of the field here in the spring race that it's hard to believe that everybody could cover that gap and get back to him. And then we went to Richmond, which, you know, wasn't too long ago and was a short track, and they had that form there too. So I definitely say those guys are going to be tough to handle.
3 more questions. Claire, Al, and we'll end with Jerry.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. You were talking about hoping that you heat up. Can you define that, driver being on the game? You were talking about speed, but your teammates have had speed, so you guys share all the information. And then add on there what's difficult about New Hampshire racing here.
Yeah, we all have different styles, and we all look for a different sensation in the race car. You know, in some ways I look at it and see how, you know, Jeff Gordon and I lived in the same shop for the longest time, and even though the cars were prepared by the same people and kind of the core of the car was the same, it took totally different setups to get our cars fast. And I look at how strong the 24 has been and the style that Jeff drives his car, and it's not surprising to me that he's hot and I'm not as hot. You know, just because our styles are so different. The rules have changed so much. We feel that in some ways the opportunity to help the car turn through the corner with this rules package and all the changes that have been made, a lot of tools have been taken away from us. So I'm trying to get my head around how do I drive a tighter race car. And then, you know, how do we get speed? You know, we had it right for 3 races this year, so it's in there. But you all see how close the times are in practice and qualifying in the race. You're not looking for a ton. I mean, just a half a tenth to a tenth will completely turn things around. So we're looking for just that little sliver of speed to get back to a dominant position. New Hampshire is it's just so tough to pass, and that creates an importance for qualifying, that creates an importance for your fuel strategy, tire strategy, and kind of how that's played out. And it always seems that at some point there's at least 2 strategies playing out, and you just hope you're in the right one. Or if you have a dominant car, you can kind of create your own strategy at that point. So we'll just kind of see where we fall in.
2 more questions. Al, and end with Jerry.
Yeah, Jimmy, Al Pearson, Auto Week. As the 6-time champion in the face of the sport, you have to field questions that a lot of guys in there will not accept. What do you think of the most recent Tony Stewart situation? Are y'all still in a state of questioning like we are, or do you know more than we do?
No, I don't know more. And has there been a statement or anything recently from Tony's side or anything? I think I saw something last week. So I'm waiting as well. I think the statement that he made helped me understand things and feel better about things then. The fact that I guess in the state or whatever went on with the police department and saying there was no criminal issue there, that is another step in the direction I think where things are heading. But I'm waiting, and I think the whole industry and world's waiting to see when Tony's able to sit at a mic and talk. So I'm like all of you, just waiting. Yeah.
Final question, Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires. Jimmy, with Hendrick having all 4 cars in the chase, and you know, what's it like with the inside the shop, the camaraderie? I know you guys have some ribbing going on and some things like that between the teams with the 5, the 24, and the 88, and your team as well.
It's great during the week to see our entire campus buzzing, knowing that all 4 cars are in the chase, all the hard work that goes into it. You know, there's a small percentage of us that are here at the track and competing against one another and have that blissful, like, wow, we're all in the chase, to, man, I've got to beat these guys now. So there's a few of us that live that competitive environment. But in today's world, in NASCAR and certainly at Hendrick Motorsports, there's a culture and a way that things are done, and it's with a multi-car team. And you know, all 4 drivers at Hendrick Motorsports know and understand that. We work as close as we can together, and then Sunday it's every man for himself. So we've been through a lot of challenging moments. I've had the fortune of racing against my teammates for championships and have learned how to handle that, and I've certainly made mistakes along the way, but I think that as an organization we do a good job of balancing all those elements.
Jimmie, thank you for coming in, and good luck this weekend at New Hampshire.